Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. In this video, we would like to talk about human-elephants conflict in Malaysia. The conflicted wildlife in this case study is the Asian elephant, scientifically known as Elephas maximus, which is classified as endangered on the IUCN Red List. In Malaysia, elephants are mainly found in Peninsular Malaysia and Sabah. They require large home range, diverse vegetation, and access to water. However, rapid land use change, especially oil palm expansion, has caused habitat loss and fragmentation. This forced elephants to move through human-dominated areas, increasing contact with people. In Sabah, the conflicts involve Bornean pygmy elephants, while in Johor, it involves Peninsular Malaysian elephant. Human-elephant conflict occurs when elephants enter oil palm plantation and other agricultural areas to search for food. They often destroy crops and infrastructure and may sometimes threaten to human safety. This conflict causes economic loss to farmers and can also result in injuries or death of elephants. Government agencies such as Perhilitan are responsible for managing and responding to these conflict incidents.
Next, when discussing human-elephant conflict, it is important to understand that this issue is largely driven by human activities rather than changes in elephant behavior. The biggest factor is habitat loss and fragmentation. When forests are cleared for farms, roads, or breeding, elephants lost their home. They still prefer to live in forests, but when the forest becomes smaller and broken into pieces, elephants are forced to move around more, and that's when they end up meeting humans. The second factor is agriculture expansion. Many farms and plantations are built right inside elephant home ranges. From an elephant's point of view, crops are basically a free buffet with high energy food resources, so they can easily access food and no hunting is needed. So that's why it often leads to crop raiding and conflict starts, especially with farmers. Next is human settlement and infrastructure. Roads, villages, railways often block the traditional routes elephants use for generations. When their parts are cut off, elephants don't just disappear, they walk through villages instead, which increase the risk for both humans and elephants. Finally, we have socio-economic pressure and negative human attitude. For farmers, losing crops means losing income. Over time, fear and frustration grow and people become less tolerant of elephants and sometimes leads to retaliation. So in short, human-elephant conflict is not because elephants suddenly change their behavior, but it happens because human land use push elephant into our space and conflicts become unavoidable.
The impacts of human-elephant conflict on humans and wildlife. This occurs when elephants move into human settlements and agricultural areas, mainly due to habitat loss and forest fragmentation. In this presentation, I will explain how this conflict affects both humans and Asian elephants. For human communities, the most immediate impact is economic loss. Elephants often raid farms, destroying crops such as oil palm and rubber in just one night. Across Asia, this damage accounts for up to 10 to 15% of agricultural loss. In Peninsular Malaysia alone, farmers have lost about 18.8 million over several years. Beyond economic damage, the conflict can also be deadly. Although elephant attacks are less common, they are extremely traumatic. In Myanmar, around 7 people are killed each year, often middle-aged men who are the main breadwinners of their families. Over time, living under constant threat creates fear and psychological stress. People limit their movement, avoid farming at night, and in severe cases, abandon their land completely. Asian elephants also suffer greatly from this conflict. When crops are destroyed or lives are lost, elephants are often killed in retaliation through shooting, poisoning, or electrocution. Even those that survive show changes in their behavior. In fragment landscape, conflict elephants travel farther each day to find food, which increases their chances of encountering humans. This constant movement causes stress and raises the risk of injury or death. In the long term, habitat fragmentation creates small, isolated elephant populations. This population face genetic problems such as inbreeding, which threatens the survival of Asian elephants in the wild.
In response to the numerous impacts on humans and wildlife, various management and mitigation measures have been implemented to address this conflict. One of the measures that was used is electrified fencing, which is typically installed along the boundaries between forest and agricultural areas. The purpose of these fences is to prevent elephants from entering farms and nearby settlements with the intention of reducing crop damage and property loss. Because these fences are placed in open areas that are exposed to weather and human activity, regular inspection and maintenance are required. The responsibility for managing these fences is usually shared between wildlife authorities such as Perhilitan and plantation owners, and both installation and long-term maintenance also involve considerable costs. Another approach that can be used is through GPS satellite collaring, where elephants are fitted with tracking collars that record their location data at regular intervals, usually every few hours. The movement data that was collected from this collar is then used to map where the elephants go, how they move through different parts of the forest and farmland, and which areas they use most often. In Malaysia, this method has helped authorities to identify so-called conflict elephants that often travel long distances into agricultural areas. By analyzing this data, wildlife managers can plan interventions more effectively, such as deploying temporary fences, alerting communities, or targeting certain areas for habitat restoration. Other than that, building habitat connectivity or wildlife corridors that focus on linking the fragmented forest areas is also important, as it allows elephants to move between habitats without passing through farms or human settlements. In Peninsular Malaysia, corridors have been planned in regions such as the Central Forest Spine to connect protected areas like Taman Negara and surrounding forests. The establishment of these corridors requires cooperation between conservation agencies, local authorities, and land use planners, especially in areas affected by agriculture and infrastructure development. By connecting separate forest patches, these corridors help maintain elephant population distribution, reduce isolation, and potentially decrease encounters with humans.
For recommendations, we focus on what should be done based on existing knowledge and experience. First, conflict management should move away from short-term solutions like translocation or culling and instead focus on long-term coexistence strategies. Protecting and restoring elephant habitats and migration corridors is essential to allow elephants to move safely without entering human settlements. Local community involvement is also strongly recommended. When communities participate in decision-making, mitigation strategies are more effective and socially accepted. Another important recommendation is improving compensation schemes. Fair, timely, and transparent compensation can reduce hostility and increase tolerance towards elephants. Non-lethal and evidence-based methods, such as early warning system and alternative cropping strategies, should be prioritized to protect both humans and elephants. Finally, proper land use planning is necessary to reduce overlap between agriculture areas and elephant habitats. Future actions focus on what needs to be developed and improved moving forward. One key future action is the development of integrated landscape-level management plans that consider both elephant ecology and human land use. Interdisciplinary research should be strengthened by combining ecological data with social science research to better understand human behavior and decision-making in conflict areas. There is also a need to improve monitoring and early warning technologies to predict elephant movement and prevent conflict before it occurs. Education and awareness programs should be expanded to promote understanding of elephant behavior and conservation importance, especially among communities living near elephant habitats. In addition, promoting sustainable livelihood that are compatible with elephant conservation can reduce dependency of high-risk farming activities. Lastly, stronger policy enforcement and better collaboration between government agencies, NGOs, and local communities are essential for long-term success. In conclusion, human-elephant conflict is not just a wildlife issue, but also a major social and economic challenge. As we have seen, the main causes of this conflict are habitat loss, forest fragmentation, and the expansion of human activities into elephant territories. This conflict results in serious impact on both sides. For farmers suffer from crop damage and safety threats, while elephants face injury, stress, and even death. Therefore, effective management cannot rely on one party alone. It requires strong cooperation between the government, conservation agencies, researchers, and local communities. With better planning, education, and long-term commitment, humans and elephants can coexist in a more sustainable and peaceful way. Protecting elephants today means protecting biodiversity and ecological balance for future generations. That's all from us. Thank you.